Hi everybody, today we're going to have a look at how do you actually search for a layer in ArcGIS Online. So I've logged onto my ArcGIS Online account. I'm going to head into my map tab to open a brand new ArcGIS Online map. And once my map is opened, I'm going to head over to this add button on the left hand side here. So I can click on that and you can see here I've got browse for layers, add layer from URL, add layer from file, and create sketch layer. There's a few other things that we can do here as well. But we're going to actually have a look for this browse layers. So if I go ahead and click on that, it's going to open up this panel on the left hand side here, and you'll see that it's actually defaulted to my content. Now, if I start searching for specific things in this area here, it's actually going to come up with things that are in my content. So I need to make sure that I drop that down into ArcGIS Online. ArcGIS Online is our online database of tens of thousands of online layers. And people who upload these layers are people like NOAA, NASA, Esri themselves, Brisbane Council, Queensland Government, Victoria Government, all that kind of thing. So quite a lot of useful data layers here. Now, if I wanted to search for maybe land use of where I am, so I'm currently in Brisbane, I could search land use Brisbane, but that might be a little bit too specific. So we've got the Brisbane River catchments have come up here, quite a few layers from Brisbane Council. But as you can see, there's not really a land use layer that has come up specifically for Brisbane. Now, that's because my search site is a little bit too narrow. Okay, so a layer that is looking at land use would be done by the Queensland Government, not necessarily the Brisbane Council. So if I was to do land use Queensland as an example, you can see there I've got much better layers. So the first layer is actually by the Queensland Government. It's the spatial land use layer. And if I was to just go ahead and add that to my map with that little tab right there, you can see that the whole of Queensland has now been mapped as the land use that it is known for, and the legend has been created down the side here so we can see what's going on. From here, I can simply zoom into the Brisbane area where I am, and I can keep this as my map area. So I can just zoom in and deal with this area rather than be zoomed out and have to deal with the whole of Queensland. So if you are from Cairns, for example, you can simply zoom in to Cairns and have the same situation going on for you there with the legend down the side here. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and remove that as an example. So that's one way that you can do it. The other way that you can do it is to just type in key terms. So maybe I want to do flooding for Brisbane. Oh my goodness. Flooding for Brisbane. And in that case, the Brisbane Council layer would be the correct layer to use because this data would be held by Brisbane Council as it is a Brisbane issue. So if I was to go ahead and press add to the map there, you can see if I zoom in, there is my flooding layer for Brisbane. So the key to searching for layers in ArcGIS Online is if you make it too specific for your location, chances are you might not find data. So if you're doing a project in Everton Park, that would be too specific to search. Whereas if you searched Brisbane, you would probably find a lot more information. Failing that, you can then go out a little bit further and do Queensland, as we did. And failing that, you might want to even go ahead and do the whole of Australia. So, for example, ABS data. If I added this one to the layer, you can see it actually maps the entirety of Australia. And if I was to pick a specific topic from our layer, maybe the median age of males, you can see the data has been mapped for the whole of Australia. And what I can do from here is, again, I can either just zoom into my location and deal with this particular area, or I can actually use the filter option right here to filter it down to my specific location, okay? And I have another video on that in a different area, but basically I would filter the object ID to be the specific area for this location if that's where I wanted it to be. And then I would just have data for that area. Okay, so that's a really good trick for finding appropriate data in ArcGIS Online. Is you can go specific to the city, to the state, or to the country, and then either zoom in or zoom out to try and get the ideal location. When you are searching for key terms, you simply need to search what you're interested in. So maybe I am interested in shark migrations, and I can go ahead and press enter, and you can see all the different layers that come up. Now, if I am specifically interested in shark migrations around Australia, a trick that I can do is go to this 3 little tabs here and filter by only show content within map area. So I can click that on, and you can see now that all these layers are specifically for Australia. Last but not least, one thing that I do want to point out, which I will link to the end of this video, is we created a catalogue of GIS data for educators, and we basically have key category words here that you can go ahead and click on, and it will actually open that layer in ArcGIS Online for you. So if you're really struggling to find a layer that you need for your subjects or your lessons, you can actually use our catalog here. We've got heaps and heaps and heaps of data that you can have a look through. So I'll link that at the end of this video.